Hey, true believers, England teen here. This is one of my favorite times of year. This and Christmas. I love the award seasons. You get to find out what you guys think about all the comic books that are coming out, and we get to talk about the bad ones this time around, and that's a lot of fun. So let me introduce. I've got JSG with me.
Hello.
All righty. And of course, Dalton and his dad puns.
Yes, hello. There will be plenty of award show banter this evening. How's it going, folks?
And Venkman, Dr. Venkman's joining us this evening.
Good evening, boys and girls.
Thank you for jumping in at last moment there. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem whatsoever. Like to help.
My show was today. When I'm tallying up the votes, that's when I get to learn everything. Some of these are landslides. Some of these are very close, but all of it was a lot of fun. But let's get right on into it so we don't make this an Oscar-length kind of broadcast. And gonna hand it over to you, Dalton. What you got for us?
Someone told them they needed to get down to earth, and they took it the entirely wrong way. Ladies and gentlemen, the worst fall from grace. The first contestant in this category is the one villain that no amount of prep time could save Batman from, Mr. Tom King. The second, form of a terrible writer and also shape of a terrible writer, Mr. Mark Russell. They may have youth in their name, but they are sure as getting old. Young Justice.
Language.
Then we have a man who is apparently one of the fastest men alive, but still cannot outrun bad writing and terrible representation of his character, Mr. Wally West. And of course, we have one of the most profound comics on tonight's list because it makes us all look at ourselves and ask the question, were we too hard on Superboy Prime? Mr. Jonathan Kent Superboy. And the winner is... His talent might be dead, but long live Tom King.
Yeah, and it was by a landslide. Okay, so Tom King, you got to talk about his fall from grace. Were you ever a fan, Jay?
No, I've not really read anything by him. So.
Oh wow, you managed to dodge a bullet.
Yeah, I didn't get attached the way that other people did. So other than hearing people's reviews for Mr. Miracle and Batman, and what was the other one that he did? Was it?
It was Heroes in Crisis.
No, before that. Was it just Mr. Miracle?
Mr. Miracle and Batman. Yep. Mr. Miracle is the one that really surprised me because the book starts off and everybody's telling me how great it is and fantastic. You got to read this. And then by the end, it's like, this book sucks. Okay.
Yeah, I think that was sort of the beginning of the end for him, was when he couldn't sort of find a landing to stick. Or decided that whatever the landing was going to be, it wasn't going to be anywhere near the mat.
Yeah, and it definitely didn't. All righty. Hello to Tristan. The Nerdette is in the house. How do you do? How do you do? Maverick saying, not surprising. Tom King's beginning run of Batman was good, but as more issues continued, he just kept on getting worse. Maybe that's part. Oh yeah, he wrote Vision as well. Senior Dead Guy says that's right. That's right. And maybe that's just the thing. He needs to write 6-issue story arcs, leave it at that, walk away. Otherwise, it's kind of repetitive. And Batman, he kind of shot himself in the foot with the whole wedding thing, and it's just gotten worse. And this year's Nightmare is not very good. But let's move on to category number 2. JSG, what do you have for us, sir?
Yes, well, you've heard about malrepresentation. Well, let's talk about misrepresentation. These are the worst character misrepresentations. Coming up first, we've got Granny Goodness, and we've got Wally West, we've got Batman, Tony Stark, and Thor. And this would be the real Thor, not feminist Thor. And the winner, running at breakneck speed, is Wally West, because he has just been devastated over the last 2, 3, 4, 5 years.
Yeah, you are. You mentioned before that this is your Flash.
Yes, this is the one that I grew up with. This is the one that I remember. My only knowledge of Barry Allen when I got into comics was that he died in Crisis. That was it. That was all I knew about him. So this is the only Flash I've ever known. And to watch his downfall has just been tragic.
And a lot of people now, granted, you have Heroes in Crisis destroying his character, but a lot of people are blaming it on Dan Didio as well.
He doesn't like any of the sidekick characters. That he's pretty much on record not liking. If they were in the Teen Titans, he does not like them. And every last one of the Teen Titans, the original Teen Titans, can you think of any of them that have been treated well?
That's true. That's true. I don't know. It's hard to even think. You know, Donna Troy used to be very prominent in the DC universe, and then after Infinite Crisis, just completely seems to be written out. Oh, thank you very much for the super chat, and all congratulations to William Winters, who says, hello, happy this weekend. My daughter was born. Awesome. Name her daughter Donna Troy. That would be awesome. Thank you very much for the super chat. One thing that I liked in the comment section was people were pointing out the fact that Granny Goodness can be remade with just one good story. But Wally West seems to be broken forever, or at least until Didio gets out of the chair. All right, moving on. We've got Dr. Venkman.
My category was the worst comic book event. The first was Age of X-Men. Second was War of Realms. Third was Year of the Villains. And the fourth was Event Leviathan. The winner surprised me, but it's actually Age of X-Men.
You know what? Actually, it surprised me too when I was tallying up, because it was very close. War of Realms was winning, but right at the end, there were a couple of additions to Age of X-Men. Are you guys reading either of these stories?
I giving them my money.
Because it's
I read War of Realms, and that's why it got my votes. It was terrible.
I could see why some would vote for War of Realms, because you can't escape War of Realms. If you don't want to touch Age of X-Men, that's fine. You just don't read X-Men comics. You're gonna be away from it. But War of Realms is everywhere.
I hate crossover events. You know, either they're good or they're bad. You know, they're 50-50. They can be bad or they can be good. But lately, they've all been bad since Civil War II. I
have read both of them, and that's why I did vote for Age of X-Men. It was god-awful. It was god-awful.
It's the weirdest kind of crossover event because it's so anticlimactic in the story itself.
Yeah, it is.
You know, it's like you just fall asleep reading it.
And yeah, and what is that 1960s Mod Squad apocalypse story that's going on? I've read it and I still don't know.
Yeah.
Like, what are you guys trying to do? Black Phoenix is saying Age of X-Men is boring crap. War of Realms really slowed down Venom's pace. That's the big problem with these.
Is it interrupting as I'm going to ask an interrupting question as I interrupt you?
That's fine.
Is it interrupting the stories like what they did with Civil War? When they did that, where it's literally stopping them mid-arc?
Yeah, and some of them it is. Some have managed to get away, or they get their own title. So, like, Spider-Man Hunted was still going on, but there's like a team that's led by Spider-Man and War of Realms, so they could tell it without. Yeah.
Once again, what I hate about the Marvel, there's like an event every like few months.
Well, they've got like 2 or 3 of them going on. They don't intersect. So they don't even advertise the other ones.
No,
no, it's really ridiculous. It really is. So the fourth category, much like my own channel, according to YouTube, I'm going to talk about things that have and people who have overstayed their welcome. And the nominees are Brian Michael Bendis on Superman, Tom King on Batman, the character of Captain Marvel, Dan Slott on Tony Stark Iron Man, Gail Simone on Domino, and Dan Didio. And it went to Brian Michael Bendis on Superman by a large margin. He got 19 votes, and the next one down got 8. That's how much Brian Michael Bendis is wanted off of Superman. Have y'all been reading his Superman?
I read the first one, that one, because someone paid for it, and that was it.
That's
I wasn't gonna do it anymore. One was enough because I knew he was gonna ruin it. And then he got his hands on Jonathan Kent and just destroyed
him. Oh, and what Tomasi did with him.
Yeah, even Tomasi is like irritated by it. Like I think someone was mentioning that they had talked to him at a con and he just like interrupted him. Like, yeah, I don't like it.
Well, that was his
Like,
whole plan.
Yeah.
He wanted like a villain. He wanted to go and destroy Superman and then move away and then take John Kent.
Here's something that surprised me because I got a few comments that were talking about the worst fall, the worst fall from grace, where they said, I want to vote for Tom King. Wally West fell as well, but since Tom King wrote it, he deserves my vote. But Brian Michael Bendis on Superman got there through the help of Dan Didio, and he tied for last with Dan Slott. So I was actually surprised more people didn't vote for Didio. Is it Didio or Didio?
Is Didio.
I've heard it
Didio.
both ways, but
That's how he pronounced it himself.
Okay, well, there you go. All righty, we're moving on to the next category. And Dalton, what do you have for us, sir?
Today, we will address the elephant in the room that a bad scene can ruin a good comic and can make a bad comic even worse, with the category of worst comic book scene. And the nominees are, we have retconning Wally West killing Lagoon Boy from Heroes in Crisis. We have the moment where Darkseid realized he probably should put Granny Goodness in the home already, i.e. when she killed his mom. We have Kryptonian puberty, that's all that really needs to be said about that, with Jonathan Kent. And we have somebody apparently hitting Hal Jordan over the head until he forgets the concept of willpower. And then, of course, returning to Darkseid for a second, we have him attempting to apparently play Martha Stewart by having a bikini contest and a baking thing. The winner is Jonathan Kent returning to Earth and all of his
Dude, we did have our moment, JSG. We had our moment right here. Right now we would be telling Tom King to sit down. Don't come and get this award. It's for Cecil Castellucci. You got the numbers wrong. With 18 votes, it was cake baking and bikini contest.
Oh, yeah, okay. So my apologies to Jonathan Kent, but he's not edgy enough to edge out the complete stupidity of Darkseid trying to essentially be Martha Stewart.
I got it wrong because it was Brian Michael Bendis did that one. But yeah, it's the cake baking bikini contest from Female Furies, which is freaking why would you do that?
Was Granny Goodness in there?
The Female Furies.
Oh no! Oh god!
No.
Granny panties. It just keeps it. It's on the outside. You don't need to see anymore.
Oh no. Yeah, it was the Female Furies all in bikinis, and you had Desaad and you had Darkseid and the Steppenwolf, the whole all the men from Apocalypse judging them in their bikinis, judging their bake-off.
Big Bart as well.
It's a ridiculous freaking scene and it managed to be a bad scene in a bad book.
The Female Furies book is supposed to be this ridiculous feminist commentary on sexism and sexual violence against women set in hell, aka Apocalypse. So everybody's already evil. So when they do evil things to each other, you're supposed to be upset. And then that's the setup, right? And then you go from Granny Goodness being technically, if you want it to be very, very technical, raped by Darkseid, but it's not really rape.
So
then you go from that to but you go from that to a what do you call it? Like a beauty pageant. It's like a bizarre beauty pageant and it's played for laughs. Like in the story, it's meant to be funny.
Yeah, but it's a ridiculous God. I mean, you know what? Normally I don't recommend bad books, but I recommend the Female Furies because
you have to see it to believe it.
Absolutely.
I'll take your word for it.
It's just one of those things. Don't spend money on it. I'm not saying that, but
I think I'll Google it.
Oh my gosh, yeah, this is god awful. We're headed over to the next what are these category, and that would be Jay. What's up?
So we all know that the SJW comics suck. They're all bad, but there's got to be a baddest of the bad. So this is the worst SJW comic book. First up is Female Furies. Then we've got Ignited. That's by your boy Kwanzaa, if you're confused about what that is. Then we've got Wonder Twins, Man Eaters, and Captain Marvel. And the winner, no, it's not Captain Marvel. You thought it would be Captain Mary Sue. It's not. It's Female Furies by a pretty large margin.
How many votes did the next one down get?
It's 30 and then actually 24. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
24 votes separate first and second place on this one.
That's deep.
there was no contest on this one. It really wasn't. For the longest time, I was actually wondering, nobody's voting for Man-Eaters? Not one? And finally, I started getting votes for other titles. But my gosh, Female Furies is making a name for itself.
I think the fact that it took a Jack Kirby legacy and just ruined it.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's this book that's clearly satirical, but then tries to talk about a serious subject and treat it seriously, but then doubles back on itself and then makes it comical. Like at the same, it's like, I can't, what do we do with this? It's just bad. And the writing's bad. The art is bad.
Yeah. Nothing good. You know what I think if they took the tone of making fun of modern day politics in comic books, they may have had something.
Yeah, but you'd have to play everything for laughs. And so you can't have it be serious and then play it for laughs, like right in the next moment. It just doesn't work.
Yeah. Let's move on to the next category then. And we got you, Dr. Venkman.
All right. The next category is Worst Storyline. Your contestants are going to be Batman Nightmares, followed by Flash, Forest Quest, Unity Saga 2, House of L, Superman, Nightwings, starring Nightwing, obviously, 7 Crisis from Young Justice. And you guys chose the worst storyline is Batman Nightmares. It was pretty close. Batman came in at 19, followed by Unity Saga 2, House of L at 17.
I think there was a lot of anger voting going on right here. Are any of you guys reading these stories? I know you're not reading Superman, Jay, but
I like Nightwing too much to even. I'm only tolerating one person writing Nightwing. His name is Chuck Dixon. Until he writes it, I don't touch it.
Considering he's going by the name of Rick and he's not wearing a Nightwing outfit while a whole bunch of cops are, yeah, I can understand why. The Nightwing's storyline started off a little bit stronger than it ended, but every time the problem with Nightwing right now is a story is the worst character is Dick Grayson, because they're calling him Rick and they're having him not act like Dick Grayson, one of the best characters that DC had in their canon, and they messed it up. Batman Nightmares has been, it's supposed to be one storyline, but it's been every issue it's been its own story. This one had at the end of it though Bane naked fighting Thomas Wayne. And I'm like, if I was Thomas Wayne, I would say, what the f are you doing? No, put some freaking pants on, then we'll wrestle maybe. But it's a ridiculous thing of Batman and Catwoman dancing around and he's dreaming about the wedding that didn't happen and everything.
Is this all by Tom King?
Yes.
Oh, see, damn.
Yeah. Senior Dead Guy saying Nightmares is boring. Yeah, and it went on way too long. Madish Soshka, Nightmares were pointless. At least Young Justice tried addressing the messed up continuity. Madish saying Rick says he does not want to be a superhero anymore and refused his whole family, but a bunch of random cops showed up and suddenly he joined superheroing. All righty, and let's move on. The next category is best keyboarding.
I'm sorry. I forgot the mutes. I thought.
Worst new ongoing series. And the nominees are Champions, Magnificent Ms. Marvel, Marvel Comics Presents, Young Justice, and Captain Marvel. And the winner is Captain Marvel, which, yes, I have been reading. And oh my gosh, not only did they at least gave her boobs, but they gave her that side shaved head thing that all went. Does anybody know somebody with that haircut?
Oh, I've seen plenty of them walking around Chicago.
Isn't that pink?
I've seen a few, but
I don't see them around Florida, and we're in the heat. So you would think, okay, maybe if a woman shaves her head, it'd be good. But
Florida's not that liberal.
No, Pink was an artist that was doing that for a while.
Orlando is
early 2000s. She was doing that.
Yeah. When she did it, it was actually edgy and cool because nobody else was doing it.
Now, of course, the entire Legion of Superheroes has it. But this storyline also sucked. I did a bad comic beatdown of it. You got to check it out. There is some horribleness to this thing. They fought I don't know if it was Fing Fan Foom, but I knew it was a dragon. I did put it out of my head. Or after a while, I don't know if this happens to you, Jay. You're a bit younger than I am. You read so many bad comics, they start to blend a little bit.
No, I'm afflicted with a relatively good memory, so I'll remember it.
I am so lucky on this one. Dalton, what do you have for us next up?
Next, we have the category that makes you wish a one-shot was occasionally a shot through the head. The worst one-shot or single-issue story. And the nominees are Tom King's continued 69ing of Batman. Captain Marvel continues to want to be a thing with Braver and Higher. They wanted to keep us on the edge of our seats, but they instead made us want to put our necks on the edge of a guillotine with Avengers Edge of Infinity. The one who single-handedly proved that there will be no justice for the Justice Democrats. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and the Freshman Force, possibly written by freshmen. Superman, Leviathan Rising. And much like in New York, the winner is AOC.
Yes. Now, Jay, are you doing a video on this one anytime?
I haven't found it. Can't find it.
I found it on. I got mine on Comixology, and I'm pulling it off and getting the pages up because this book is.
Oh, I know it's all sorts of bad.
It's a masterpiece. It really is. It's amazing because it almost seems like I described it as one of those old Beetle Bailey cartoons where it's like a one-page joke, except all it is bitching about Trump and talking about how great Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is. It's, oh my gosh, I've read some political comics in the past, but this is golden. All righty, let's move on. And JSG, what do you have for us, sir?
I've got the worst miniseries. Thankfully, they were short, but they were still painful. So first up, we've got Major X. Then we've got Female Furies, followed by Heroes in Crisis, followed by Hulk Marines, and then last but not least, Wonder Twins. And the winner is Heroes in Crisis. And it was a close one. It was a very, very close one by one vote. Heroes in Crisis.
Yes, by one freaking vote. Venkman, do you read a lot of comics? I know you read Ghostbusters.
Not lately. The last one I read was probably last year, I think, when they had Renew Your Vows. And I was starting to get into the one where Spider-Man was traveling through time with his sister.
This amazed me, this category. I mean, I know people hated Female Furies and Heroes in Crisis, and this is the last chance for this to be in the Gabbies. But damn, some of the comments I got for Heroes in Crisis, people are mad at this crap. Jay, what's up?
Well, you got somebody taking characters and writing them completely out of character. I mean, Hal Jordan doesn't know what will is. Like, dude, your powers work on this.
Jeez.
How do you not know what
He made himself into willpower.
Who's writing it though? For Hal
Tom King.
Well, really?
It's Tom King. When it comes to DC, there are two names that are ruining everything: Tom King and Brian Michael Bendis.
I don't know.
No, he's on record saying that he's got basically trauma from his time in the military, and he's dealing with it through the writing. But it's like every story is him doing this.
So
And it's all kind of the same story, and it's all depressing. And so it's taking these characters and then just tearing them down and making them all milquetoast and self-defeating, and it just ruins the characters.
you
So
really want to? So who's in charge of DC? Who's as far as hiring
Didio.
stuff? Didio?
Yeah.
He's wow.
So let's move on though, and Dr. Venkman, what do you have for us? We're getting to the top prizes here.
All right. The category this time is worst artist, and your nominees are going to be Adrienne Melo or Milo, Female Fairies. Then you have Brent Peoples, Major X, Eric Larson, Savage Dragon, Michael Fife or Fief, depends what you prefer. For G.I. Joe, by Sierra Murta or Merida. Then you have Robert Rodriguez, Goddess Mode. And your winner is going to, just by a hair, is Goddess Mode by Robbie Rodriguez.
Yeah, this is another one that was like,
Yeah.
It was the other one. Who was
G.I.
the
Joe.
runner-up? Oh, wow. Okay.
yeah, I showed the art for G.I. Joe. This was you remember this was our last minute edition because I said, you guys have to look at this before you agree on anything. You have to look at this
And
art.
tied for third was Savage Dragon, Female Fairies, and then the last was Major X.
Yeah, man, I thought more people would be voting for Major X, but I did vote for Michael Fife.
I feel like I didn't vote
I'm
on
glad
these.
Goddess Mode got something on these because I was surprised it didn't show up any of the other places it could have possibly shown up.
There's so many worse things, though. That's the thing. It's like Zoe Quinn trying to be bad could not outdo anyone else.
Yep.
Think about that. That as far as writing is concerned, wait, nope, yes, she is. But yeah, it's not the worst SJW book. It's not the worst. You're right. It could have shown up and lost a lot of other places, but at the very least, it lost for art, or won for art, and it did by one. That's how much. I know not a lot of people watched or have read G.I. Joe Sierra Muerta. But I will bet a lot of those votes that it got came from that one screenshot that I had in that video, because that art is what you put on your fridge when your kid brings it to you. It's not what you give someone a professional job for.
You know, the irony of that is that all the people, and I mean all of them, that were trashing Eli Canales' art on Ironsides, every last one of them was praising that book.
All righty, so let's move on to the next category. And guys, I'm going to tell you straight ahead, this was actually not a runaway loss or win, or however you want to categorize this. And this is for Worst Writer of 2019 from January to June. Your nominees were Tom King on Batman, Brian Michael Bendis on Superman, Cecil Castellucci on Female Furies, Dan Slott for Tony Stark, Iron Man, and Zoe Quinn for Goddess Mode. And the winner is Cecil Castellucci for Female Furies. Oh, I could tell I got a wave of surprise coming right off of you guys.
No.
Actually, I got to tell you, I was surprised about this because I really thought Brian Michael Bendis was going to walk away with this. And for a while, I was getting the votes. It was very much a trade-off, 1-for-1, until other people started getting votes. And then it was just like Cecil just got the rest of them. The next one down was Brian Michael Bendis with 12 votes. And then the next one down for that was Tom King for Batman. Now, Dalton, why do you think Tom King got more votes than Zoe Quinn for Worst Writer?
Because what he did actually mattered in the grand scheme of things, whereas her book had everyone going, literally, which book?
Yeah, Goddess Mode. It's like, yeah, you could actually ignore that. Batman is canonical on a major character. That's actually the comment that I got a lot on this thing. Hey, Dalton, what you got for us?
Right now, we're getting down to the nitty gritty of the worst here. starting, of course, with independent comics, like we always do. The nominees are, it might not have ignited any interest, but it certainly did ignite certain people's rage with Ignited. Then, of course, she's back, she's utopian, and she's naive to an nth degree, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Then we have the book that redefines the term catty bitches with man-eaters. Then we have the book that they didn't even bother to give a title to. They just wrote down what their first reaction was. Oh shit, Kim and Kim. And of course, she wanted to make a star of herself, but she ended up basically being in the comic book equivalent of a B-movie, Hit Girl in Hollywood. And the winner is, once again, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
This was not even close. It really wasn't. I thought it would be because Man-Eaters was there. Yeah, I was actually surprised that Man-Eaters didn't make a better show of it.
Got
it was
trumped. Or got AOC'd.
It got AOC'd, yes. That's a good wordplay there, sir.
Much like Montezuma, it lost to Cortez.
I mean, okay, I know not a lot of people have read this book. I have. I will be doing a video on it, I promise. I'm going to threaten until I do it.
And we thank you for it.
Yeah,
You're suffering.
I don't know if I'm
than me. I mean, I can't find it, so
This is one of those things where I don't know if we could tell jokes. It's just like, here's a page. All righty, let's move on to the next category, and we go to Just Some Guy.
So it's the industry leader that's managed to cripple all the other publishers, the worst of the comic book companies, the worst Marvel comic. You've got Major X, you've got Captain Marvel, Age of X-Men, Unstoppable Wasp, and West Coast Avengers. And the winner, ironically proving she's unstoppable Wasp. Just rammed her way right on through.
Oh, man.
But, well, by one.
By one.
It is by one, but it was through, is the point. She got through and got canceled. So there you go.
Yeah, the Unstoppable Wasp proved to be very stoppable.
You mean she buzzed her way through?
Oh, Dalton, that was... Oh, wait, that wasn't Dalton.
That was me.
My goodness gracious. Yeah, it was 17-16 on these votes. Unstoppable Wasp definitely deserves the win.
That was a book, for those who don't know. That was a book that got canceled because of low sales. It continued to tank from the moment it was started. It was just scraping the bottom of the Marvel list. They canceled it, and then there was like some piece in some media outlet, and Marvel decided to bring this book and Riri Williams and Iceman back, and then a lot of those series got turned into miniseries after they were announced as being new ongoing series. But
ideological nepotism for the win, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. Wasp got through, but nobody bought the book, so it got canceled again.
Well, it was one of those things that we, and I still say that we did this, Jay. And I know you've never actually been CG, but like CG adjacent, as they called it, but still part of the group and everything. And all the people were talking how horrible these books are. And I really do believe that we played a role in getting that, She-Hulk, Iceman, and Riri Williams, all of these books canceled. But then they stopped paying attention, and they only paid attention to the voices that were saying these books were great because of representation.
Well, they had canceled them, though, and they were canceled for like 4 or 5 months.
Yep.
So I have two theories about it. I think it's either that piece that came out got them all nervous, or the original intention was, we'll cancel the books, we'll wait till people forget about them, then we'll bring them back, and then hope that nothing happens. It's like, you can't bring this back and think nobody's going to go, what are you doing?
But they only did one right, because the other two books, Wasp and Iceman, have the same creative team on it. At least with Ironheart, they gave it to what's her name, and she has actually not sucked. I can't say she's great on it, can't say it's particularly good, but at least it hasn't sucked. So let's move on into the next category. What do you have for us, sir?
I have the worst DC comic. Well, technically I don't. I haven't bought any of these, thankfully. My nominees are going to be Female Fairies, Hero in Crisis, Batman, Superman, and Young Justice. And you guys voted, and your result was Female Fairies at the top of being the worst, followed a few off by Heroes in Crisis. The rest, I mean, pretty much were like 4 or 5, you know, and then Young Justice, no one voted for.
Young Justice has the "it's nice to not be nominated"
Right.
role right here because nobody voted for Young Justice next to the others. What about you, Jay? Which one would you have voted for?
Oh, it's all Female Furies. There's no question about it. You don't get to touch a Jack Kirby, you know, legacy like that and then just ruin it for
Completely
no reason.
it's disrespectful.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, Dalton. Mark Waid once said the first rule of a writer is do no harm, and here we have Cecil Castellucci. What's up? It is it's just
wait. Did Mark Waid actually say that?
Yeah, Mark. Yeah. That's a quote from Mark Waid. He used to say the first rule of a writer is do no harm.
Well,
that just blew your mind, didn't it?
Now I have all the ammunition I ever need to go at him even harder.
Almost be like he's a hypocrite.
What? Geez, somebody should make a whole bunch of videos about Mark Waid, Jay.
That's for sure, Precious, and we will do more once he comes back and makes more stupid comments.
Oh, thankfully we got the voice. Ashad Comics is saying when they are as bad as FF and HIC, it's impossible to pick. Let's see. What else do we have? They touched Jack Kirby in the no-no spot. Yeah, they did. If they redeem Cap Marvel, would it change our minds on her? Yes. She would be redeemed. A lot of characters have gone through a bad spot. You know, some of them, you know, they dip, they get better. You know, X-Men was going to be canceled before Giant Size X-Men. Superman used to be way too powerful and uninteresting. You know, everybody does. So yeah, I've actually asked this question in quite a few videos. I actually made one called "If Marvel Gets Better, will you like them?" Some people are saying no, they're done with them forever. But you know, some are, yeah, if they improve, sure, why not?
If Marvel turned around and started to stop being woke, I would be shocked. But I mean, it's going to take for them for Disney to go under, and Disney's never going to go under, for them to realize, hey, we should change around our policies.
Mavericks asking, did I just hear Mark Waid?
We don't speak that name.
Yeah. Let's see. Captain Marvel's bad spot starts the moment she stopped being Ms. Marvel. Absolutely. Well, once again, we got the Kelly Sue DeConnick deconstruction, and she's never been constructed since. So she's kind of lost out on that. All righty. Now we're going to move on to the final category, the big one. Worst comic book of 2019, January to June. We had 7 nominees, but we ended up only needing 5 because, like Young Justice, nobody voted for Batman, and nobody, get this, and I am not kidding, nobody voted for worst comic book of 2019 for Captain Marvel. The other nominees were Female Furies, Superman, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and the Freshman Force, Heroes in Crisis, and G.I. Joe Sierra Muerte. And the winner is, drumroll, 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 Female Furies. And are you surprised at all about this one? You've read it as well, JSG.
Not at all. I mean, it's a special kind of bad. It's like when you have a baby that finally is digesting food and it's got that smell to it for the first time. Like, oh God, you can make that?
Yeah, you are right.
What it is.
If Female Furies is the green baby poop of comic books. Yeah, absolutely.
Like, the New Gods are one of my favorite mythoses. So like most things around Apocalypse are awesome to me, including and especially the Furies, because the Furies are really awesome villains. what the fresh hell happened here?
Absolutely.
Honestly.
And I was excited. I mean, they just did a Tom King, Mr. Miracle, which, yeah, it had mixed reviews. But just based on that, I was thinking, okay, so they're going to do Female Furies. And I was thinking that it was going to be treated with the same kind of respect that they were giving Mr. Miracle.
Nope.
You know, because Mitch Gerard, you got to give it to him. The art was good. And I haven't read it yet, so I don't know how bad it got. But at least I was hearing that the beginning of the thing was. But when you read and you see Female Furies, it's god awful. It's horrible. And then the next one down was Heroes in Crisis. The Female Furies won by 2 votes.
Yeah, it's
2.
not that far off. I mean, they are both a special kind of bad.
One person in the comment section said it like this: Heroes or Female Furies is awful, but when it's done, we're going to forget about it. Heroes in Crisis has ruined a character maybe forever. And they're talking about Wally West. And he's right about it. And I could see why some would like Heroes in Crisis to be the worst, and it would definitely have deserved it had it won. But it's Female Furies is a different level of bad. So it absolutely deserved this. The next one down, Brian Michael Bendis' Superman.
Yeah.
And
I
then
mean, that's another one that is just, you had a book that was one of the best books from Rebirth. You had a character who had been revitalized. You actually made Superman interesting again and likable. Peter Tomasi was killing it on there, and it's like you take it from him and just destroy it.
Yeah, it really is. It's like somebody just wanted to take their football away from a good team because they were doing something different and just deflated it rather than went and played with someone else.
Yeah.
It's God, my goodness gracious. So in the comment section, we're getting someone believes you have Ash on Comics believes you have a way with words, Jay.
Yes, I do. Thank you.
There you go, gang. That was a piece of what we did yesterday. First of all, I did have to cut some of the commentary down. It ran about an hour 15, hour 30 with all of the commentary we gave. And then afterwards, we stayed on for another 3.5 hours. This is a long, long broadcast. But it was a lot of fun. I hope you enjoyed it. We're going to be doing a Spirit Awards for Best of 2019, January to June. So keep an eye out for that. Don't forget to vote, of course, when that comes up. Let me know what you thought about this and everything else in the comments below. Don't forget to click like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Don't forget also to go on over to BitChute. Got a channel started up there, and if you don't mind helping out the channel, tip the piano player while you're there, or drop $1 in Ko-Fi or to Patreon, and helps keep making videos for you. And if you got a specific video you want to have made, go on over to Ko-Fi, and I'm doing commissions. You just commission a video, and I will do it for you. Thank everybody who's already done that, and to everyone, all of the true believers, thank you very, very much for watching.